Earlier this year, this mound was about 3 feet taller. And in the spring, the chickens were going that direction. And we had some potatoes that were sprouting in our cellar and stuff. And I just brought them out here and chucked them around this pile. And the chickens, in their effort to look for worms, scratched the pile down and buried the potatoes. And now in the fall, they're coming back this way towards their winter house, and they scratched the pile down some more, and they dug out the potatoes.
This looks like this rotating, revolving wheel. It's as I come back through, it's like, yeah.
Worms are my hardest work.
Bless you, worms. Bless every one of you. Keep chewing.
That's it. Among all my other critters that we have here on the farm.
Who else are you working for you besides your good work?
Well, here's Pouncer.
Hi there, Pouncer.
He's one of my hard worker rodent protectors. Or not protectors, predators.
He's a rodent dropper killer, huh?
Or he's an affectionate guy. He likes lots of attention.
Oh.
He's hamming it up for the camera now.
Honest to goodness. Yes. Oh, Pouncer. You know this is a video just about you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
So this is Pouncer. He's one of our barn cats that play a very important role here on the farm. He gets the mice. He gets the rubs. He licks up the spilled milk. He loves it.
I think he's given he's got a good he's well fed.
Well fed.
He's well fed.
Yeah.
Purring like crazy. Listen to you.
Yeah. He's aptly named. I've seen him catch 3 mice in one go.
Well, we were fortunate. We got to watch him take one down when we helped with the corn the other day.
Yeah.
So it's like, yep, good. He's good. You're good. You're good, Pouncer.
So
your other allies.
Yeah, our other allies here, aside from Pouncer and the worms, all perform various functions on the farm. So our chickens are probably our next most important workers and allies, and fertilizers and pest control and cultivators.
Let's give them a visit.
Okay.
And tell me more about what work you put them to.
Yeah.
Here we are with the chickens and the rooster.
The rooster.
That's the one.
So we move this every couple of days, and the majority of the manure falls out underneath this, so we don't want to leave it too long in one spot because it'll
get too much fertilizer.
Yeah. So we're pulling up the anchor.
Aha, the stake.
The
anchor
holds it down because we get windy days, it'll blow it some way. The anchor, and this is the tiller here. So we got the tiller, you can steer it with the tiller, and we'll pull her up slope.
The schooner, the chicken schooner.
That's the chicken schooner. Get it up here a little bit. And find a nice happy spot and weigh anchor.
Hey, anchor. Here we go. Anchors away.
There we go.
We're in the ground.
Yep. That holds it.
So this is maybe like a little wind protection?
Yep. Lightweight wind protection. And they got good ventilation.
They can just roost. I love it that they're real branches.
Yeah.
Brian, that is sweet. That's closer to the wild, than a bunch of 2x.
That's it. And it's all screen on the bottom, so the majority of their manure falls through. So this keeps it so we don't have to clean out a chicken coop.
Yeah.
We just move it around.
So here are their boxes, nesting boxes?
Yep, and normally we keep the egg cartons inside here. This one had only 2, so we left it in there. So this keeps them dry in the rain. And we can open this up.
Oh, hi there.
Yeah, we got a couple in here. This one's, I think, she's broody. She's always in here, and she's talkative. So I collect collected earlier today, but there might be
Oh my!
Might be a
She's got a
couple
nice
in here.
look at that. Hello there. You got 5 in there.
yeah. So we'll put those out. She's broody. She already hatched out a clutch of 4 chicks earlier this season. She'll peck at me. Let's see what she's got. She's got one. There you go.
Ah, beautiful. So once again, less effort,
Less effort. Let the animals do what they do best.
which helps your
Helps
field,
the soil, the field,
the bugs.
breaks down the bug in the weed seed population. Yep.
Thanks, girls
Yeah.
and sir.
And it scratches up the mulch. So
Yeah, I was
what-
seeing this as you've got
Yep, good mulch material.
and back down to dirt in some hot spots where they.
Yeah, in fact, there's one box here that needs a little bit extra mulch because I had to clean one out earlier.
Thanks for your help, animals.
So
Yeah.
soon we will bring them up onto some of our finished beds that are about ready to go into dormancy, and we'll let them work over any remaining weed seeds, any slug eggs. They love slug eggs. It's like caviar.
Great. Ooh.
Slug
I like
caviar.
that chicken caviar. No, caviar.
Yeah, that's it. And on towards their winter home.
Okay. Which is what?
We have a permanent home that we house them in during the winter months just because it's colder and we don't want to be moving around as much when there's snow on the ground
Oh, yeah.
or it's frozen.
Right.
And it keeps them safer from predators because predators are a little bit more on the prowl, the coyotes and other. So
And they're hungry in the
And
winter,
they're
so
hungry.
it's.
So it's easier, it keeps them more one. The house is in one location. We still move the fencing around, but the house is in one location, and we're able to provide them with better heat and water and so forth.
Brian, I've noticed that the chickens you've got a little fence, portable fence around, and they've been you've moving them from one place to the other. So, tell us about how these guys work on your land.
Well, number one, we like them to have as happy and fruitful life as possible. And so if you leave them on just one piece of ground too long, they will basically denude that ground and there's no food and they don't like that and they're just eating grain all the time. So we try and move them onto as diverse a forage as possible. And right now it may look like this ground is denuded, but actually this is all compost beds and manures, bedding hay, and stuff that have been inoculated with worms and have been sitting here all this season. And so by moving them onto this type of an area, they get a very good protein diet.
They get all the worms.
All the
that are
worms
sitting
on the
in
surface that they
right.
can find.
Yeah, and they're working at it too.
And they're
Look
working
them.
at it.
They're just
And
digging,
there's all kinds of other bugs and grubs and whatever. And they spread our compost for us.
Oh, thank you. All right.
And we get really amazingly rich eggs, yolks and stuff that are so protein rich. And then we also move them on to areas. This is a little kale forest that we always let kale go to seed around here. And so this is all self-sowed kale.
It brought
And
itself here, you think?
They planted themselves
Oh, I see. Okay.
right there. I didn't do anything to them, didn't weed them, didn't water them, didn't do anything. And so now the chickens can harvest them. I just moved them onto here today.
Okay.
And so they're just starting to work on this little patch. So they get their protein and they get their
Here's
greens.
your greens.
And it looks like you brought them some things.
Well, I adding to their diverse diet.
That's it.
All right, these are my kitchen scraps. Hello, girls. Anybody interested? Here's. And here, which I need to crush a little bit more,
Yeah.
some eggshells. For what? Calcium?
That's the calcium. And it also ends up in their crop, which helps them digest food.
Oh.
So it's roughage, just like grit or seashells are in. If you buy pre-made chicken food, it's always got oyster shell or grit in there to help them digest rougher stuff in their crop.
Well, I'm giving you some of your own back, girls, because your eggs are wonderful, really beautiful dark yolk. And
Yeah, so pretty much all of our food scraps are not composted per se. They're fed back to animals. So the chickens will pick through and find what they like and then just scratch the rest into the ground. And actually, as a result, this year we had, I think I found over a dozen avocado trees planted and growing in our swale systems.
from the girls.
From the girls planting them.
You may get the tropics here yet.
We might.
So you know, you're noting that the potatoes, there's potatoes in this mound that they had planted them, you said?
Yep.
And they're harvesting
So earlier this year, this mound was about 3 feet taller. And in the spring, the chickens were going that direction. And we had some potatoes that were sprouting in our cellar and stuff. And I just brought them out here and chucked them around this pile. And the chickens, in their effort to look for worms, scratched the pile down and buried the potatoes. And now in the fall, they're coming back this way towards their winter house, and they scratched the pile down some more, and they dug out the potatoes.
This looks like this rotating, revolving wheel. It's as I come back through, it's like, I mean, that's the perennial. That's part of the perennial.
That's right.
And I think you had mentioned that you use the chickens to do some of your work when you are going to be building ponds or other drainages. If they come and do some of the work, the pigs do some of the work.
Well, they are. I like to look at chickens like kind of the cleanup crew and the sanitizer. So they're the pasture sanitization team. They go through, and so, for instance, I think what you're talking about is when you work pigs through a system, they have a lot of pig manures and other, they pull big lumps of grass up out of the ground and make it all lumpy dumpy. You bring the chickens in, the chickens will spread the pig manure out. They'll tear apart the weed clumps that the pigs rooted up and kind of level the area. And so they're kind of a little finer tuning, grading type thing. And then they'll eat any larvae and especially fly larvae through the system. And one of the things we use actually as they're working through the system to feed them when they're not on worm piles is this maggot bucket.
Maggot
Bucket. So this little contraption's pretty simple. It's a 5-gallon bucket drilled with holes. And in that we put any meat scraps we have from the kitchen that we don't want to feed directly to our dog or whatever. Or if occasionally we'll have a sick bird, or occasionally we'll scrape some roadkill off the road and toss it in there. And we put straw below and straw above, and the flies come in and lay their eggs.
On the meat,
and the maggots wiggle out.
Oh, they come out the holes?
Out the holes. And the chickens go, protein.
So in your warmer season, when that's happening, there you are making another. I mean, both you have a place to use your meat scraps or roadkill or whatever, and you're feeding. I mean, this.
And when we're done with that, we'll empty it out, and it's just bones, and they're completely picked clean, and you can powder the bones and use that as bone meal in the gardens, or just bury them. I mean, they're part of our system. In biodynamics and permaculture, you want a closed loop system where everything that comes from the farm stays on the farm and goes back into the soil.
No waste. Yeah. Waste. There is no waste. Everything.
Waste equals food.
Go.
Pretty much. That's the way natural systems work.
How are the pigs part of the workforce, I guess I'd say?
Well, the pigs
are also multifunctional.
Mm-hmm.
So they are nature's rototillers. They work up soil like no other critter. They've only been here less than a day. and they're starting to work up
Yeah, I was
this
gonna
corner.
say they got this. They're just.
Yeah. We get pigs in the spring as weaner pigs, and we raise them up, and we harvest them in the fall.
Hi there.
And they do an amazing amount of service and end up totally delicious pork and bacon and all kinds of other things. We've used their hides and others. They're faithful service. So they aside from rooting, which are their nature's best rototillers, and they'll work up
look at
areas.
him just chugging away at that. Interesting.
Yeah, they have this little shape on the end of their snout that's like a steam shovel. It just gets underneath, and it's just the right curvature, and it can just push up large amount of material in short amount of time.
Wow.
But aside from that, they help us process a lot of vegetable products and milk products that would otherwise go to waste. So overgrown zucchinis, overgrown squash, all kinds of milk, and when we make cheese, the whey, and byproducts of our milk production. I just found out today they eat the corn stalks,
Oh wow.
comfrey, corn stalks, kale, I mean, you name it. Anything you would eat, the pig would eat, even if it's a little bit off.
Even some of the stalks that I might not eat.
Yeah, even some of those.
But
So
animals
they
are
like,
omnivores.
they are. And they eat the worms and the grubs and the roots. So as you can see, I wish I had a snout cam. You could see what they're eating at the end of their snout. Because they're eating something down there.
Yeah,
And so we put them in areas where we want the soil really worked up. So this area that they're in right now is where I'm going to be putting in a pond next year. And so I want all this topsoil worked up. And we've put them in pastures that has poor pasture. And then when we move them out of there, then we regrade that area and sow a better pasture mix. So you can see over here where the turkeys are, there's clover and fescue and other things. Previous years we've had pigs there, and then I've resown a much better pasture mix in that area. So I've rejuvenated the pasture with the pig rototilling, the pig fertilizer, and a little bit of the appropriate seed. So they do multiple functions. And store all this wonderful produce that we produce here that we can't often consume it all.
I was wondering, because I know some of it goes to a CSA,
Yeah.
some of it goes to you and other people that work with you here on the farm, and it's like, but this stuff is not, perfect
Yep.
or
Yep.
good enough.
Exactly.
even.
Yeah. Pigs
So you're the end of the line, sort of.
pigs aren't
Pigs.
picky. Pigs don't care what it looks like; they just care what it tastes like. So people are used to what it looks like in the store, which
Yeah,
is groomed
yeah,
and manicured
yeah.
and shined and polished and everything. And these folks, they'll take it any way it comes. And so, in a way, it's a way to preserve our food.
Sure,
We
sure, I
preserve
get
it
it.
in
In their
animal
bodies.
protein.
Yeah. Which gives you some of the highest, the
Yep.
highest
Look at
quality
them go.
protein.
They found
and
something in there.
yum yum. Great tour. Thank you for tools and allies and a little bit of, permaculture put into practice. Well, you have that
Aside
too.
from that, they're very. Hey, they're some of the more personable animals that we have.
Yeah, there's something yummy just, right over there.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it. You're watching pigs, and they are having a peak moment down there shoveling under the grass. I Tanea Donaldson. I'm with Brian Kerkvliet. This is Inspiration Farm. I'm inspired. You have done an incredible amount of work here since we visited you 3 years ago, and more allies, more land carried on into the next stages. It's really it is inspiring.
Well, it's not just me, it's all my allies and all the people
Another
that come to
community.
learn
Yeah.
and be involved. So
It's
we're
a
happy to
community.
share.
It's a
Yep,
community.
definitely.
Well, thank you. You did for us in your community. You got to be. We're happy to be parked in a little corner here and be part of the joy
We're happy to share.
and the wild.
Yeah.
Join us next time.